Hello students, welcome back to your computer science class. So we are doing a revision of chapter 3. We finished up to augmented reality and virtual reality in our last class. Today we will start with robotics. You all know robotics is the next technological advancement. We can already see small bots taking over us. Alexa, I would consider as a chat bot that we all can have now. In fact, one of my cousins just got a vacuum bot that keeps cleaning the house continuously. So robotics is helping us make our life much better. Robotics can have artificial intelligence in them. It can have machine learning inside it. So we have Sophia, who's a social humanoid robot, and she can speak to humans. A Hong Kong-based company, Hanson Robotics, has launched a social humanoid robot in 2015, and this humanoid robot was named as Sophia. These are all robots. We use robots for the missions, Mars missions, and all other missions. Drone. This is a Japan nursing robot that helps to deliver medicines. It helps to carry the patients. These are some tasks that will make our life easier. This is another, so robotics is definitely an emerging trend. Another trend or another uh, trend that has emerged is big data. Each one of us individually has lots of data to take care of, to manage, to organize. Whether it's even if you look at student life or if you look at a teenager's life, you all have so many pictures, so many videos, so many books you all may be reading, so many other digital data that you all have. With online classes, you all will have to keep a track of the timetables, the video links that are coming in, so much data. So all this data, when we as individuals who are, uh, we're not even talking of very important data here. Imagine the amount of data a country must be having a day per day, or an app or a software must be having in a day. So this is an average statistics taken by Laurie Levis in 2019. Uh, this is a fantastic infographic which shows us how much data is generated in 1 minute. So Facebook has 1 million logging in per minute. Google has 3.8 million searches. Instagram has 334 347 lakh to 222 people scrolling Instagram per minute. There are 41 people streaming music. So much things is happening just in a minute. Can you can you even think? Can you even multiply and see if 1 million people are logging into Facebook in 1 minute? How many will actually be logging in per day? That is amount of data only generated by Facebook. And even this wheel on the screen doesn't completely justify the amount of apps that we are even using daily. Forget the apps that are actually there. So the amount of data that we are generating a minute is creating lots of problems: storage problems, processing problems, analyzing problems, what data to delete, what data to not delete, self-service data preparation, cloud, IoT, all this. So the most emerging technology today, from for me, from the perspective I look at the technology right now, is storing this data. I think in the future there will be people who must be uh, keeping your libraries, your album libraries. You'll just go there to pick up your hard disk and drop it back, or something like that. Because how much are you going to save, and how? If you have someone who's looking into it, you're ready to hire them in the future. So technologies that will emerge with big data is real-time solutions, traditional database, world revolutionize, and big data applications. This is a picture that just shows how much data is generated. So these are the challenges of the big data, that is data integration, the scalability, the size it is, the security and privacy of that data, because because it's with everything. Anything that you have a lot, you cannot completely secure it. Data mining techniques, how will you retrieve the data that you want? Data processing, data visualization, data transmission. Data transmission, have you all ever tried to copy a file and took too long to copy? And did you find it challenging or irritating? And that was just one file on your computer. Imagine with the amount of data we have around, if you had to shift servers or servers had to go out of service and you take a backup of server, the amount of time that would take. Also, the quality of data. When you're saving things on the cloud, and if the cloud is deteriorating the quality of your image, let's say Google Photos is actually deteriorating the quality of your image, that's not correct. So to keep the data quality also intact is very important. Lack of standardization, storage of data, all this is the challenges that we are carrying. And with these challenges, we have to even analyze that data. So analyzing big data means four things. One is capturing it, that means taking it. Second is processing it. Third is analyzing it. And finally, visually representing it. So big data has six characteristics, six V's. It has volume, it has variety, it has velocity, it has veracity, it has value, and it has variability. Volume is the amount of data from so many myriad sources. Variety is the type of data, whether it's structured, semi-structured, unstructured. I have spoken to you all about this in the chapter 1 revision also. Then there is velocity of data, that is the speed at which it is getting generated. The veracity is the degree to which you can trust this data. Value is the business value of the data collected. And variability is the ways in which the big data can be used and formatted. Another picture showing the characteristics of big data. So if you have lot of data, lots and lots and lots of data, let's say I have data of Facebook logging in, okay, lots of data, like 1 million in 1 second. Let's say I have like 5 years of data of just Facebook logging. What will I do with it? What will I do if I don't know the value of it? To know the value of it, I need to do analytics. So the 5 key trends in data analytics are predictive analytics, that is prediction, what will happen in the future. Augmented data management and analytics. Conversational analytics. What is the kind of conversation that can happen because of that data? IoT is Internet of Things. And finally, we have blockchain. So we'll do Internet of Things today, and then that'll be the last thing I do for today. I'll just confirm that. Give me a okay. No, I will have to do up till cloud computing. So this is Internet of Things. With microcontrollers, like we had done in the first chapter, we have a TV, we have a washing machine, we have uh, everything around in our house now being able to connect to internet. So everything is coming into the internet. It's a system of interconnected devices that are collecting data from the surrounding environment to enable increased reactivity and responsiveness. This data helps us to make better and more informed decisions. So all this data that is being collected, collect anything, anyone, anytime, any place. So we have so much of information that is coming. Internet of Things is basically any device, any network, any place, anyone. Okay, so all these makes an Internet of Things in your house. If you have a band that you're wearing that is collecting your data, you have a refrigerator that's collecting your some amount of data. There is a microwave, there is a laptop, there is a modem, there is your TV, there is Alexa. Some of us have home automated systems. So all these things that are collecting our data is the Internet of Things. That brings us to the next topic, Web of Things. Now, Web of Things is basically uh, different from Internet of Things, because Internet of Things is basically different devices. But Web of Things makes everything easy. It gives us one interface to interact with all the devices. So it makes a web of it. It doesn't make it. It's not relying on only internet and different devices. Sensors. So sensors are exactly how all these devices work. Whether it is Alexa or anything. Alexa has audio sensors. It listens to us. Okay, so these are accelerometer sensors which detect the orientation of the phone. These are gyroscope sensors which tracks the rotation or twist of your hand, so that you know whether the screen, it auto rotates when you move it. Then you have sensors which basically monitor and they observe the elements in the real world and they apply in that way. It leads to creation of a new sensor based intelligent system. These are the different types of sensors: proximity sensors, thermosensors, IR receivers, touch sensor. All these help. Smart city, this was my favorite topic when I did it, because uh, another emerging trend that we are on the brink of. Of course, I personally, I'm not completely convinced with any smart city right now in India anywhere, but this is very much a future probability. It is basically a city that makes use of all the computer and communication systems along with IoT, that is Internet of Things, to manage and distribute different resources efficiently. So if you look at this picture, there are so many Wi-Fi centers, there is a satellite, there are lots of cellular towers, all of them doing different work, and they're communicating with each other. So for example, if you're leaving your house, your car, as and when it is passing through those sensors, is telling the office that you're reaching, and because you're reaching there, they're making sure that your parking spot is empty. If it is not, you get a message immediately saying, you park your car here because that spot is not empty. As soon as you park your car, automatically, your car locks on its own. You're able to get out. All the automation that happens, that is the future city that we are looking at. So over here, the building that we show, it uses sensors to detect earthquake tremors, and then it warns the nearby buildings so that they can prepare themselves. There's a smart bridge over here which uses wireless sensors to detect any loose bolt, any bolt that is got loose, or it's going to break, or there's a cable, or there's a crack, and it tells the concerned authorities through an SMS. It doesn't need someone to repeatedly check on it. There is a tunnel over here. In this, there's a smart tunnel that uses wireless sensors to detect any leakage or congestion in the tunnel, and this information is again wirelessly sent across the network so that everyone knows it. Okay, so in every sphere of our life we can have uh, uh, we can have a smart city in which every sphere of our life is automated. We have transportation system, power plants, water supply networks, waste management, information systems, school, library, hospital, all these services which actually even interact with each other on their own and give us a comfortable lifestyle. This is a smart town planning picture, which if you are ever planning a smart city, take this picture down and keep it with you so that you know exactly which points you will have to work at. Okay, we are not going to do cloud computing today. That is for tomorrow. That's my last class with you all. I hope you all are studying well. Keep studying. I hope you all get really good marks. You all have been very good students. You all have given your assignment very well. You all have given your subject enrichment very well. Your MCQ has been good. I am sure your unit test will be great too. So till then, stay home, stay safe, take care, and keep learning. Thank you.